Hello everyone. Welcome to Synchronous Online Teaching Strategies. This is the Classroom Management and Accountability session. My name is Teresa Wells. I'm an assistant professor out of George Mason University, and in the Mathematics Education Leadership Program, we've been doing synchronous online instruction now for a while, and that's where I've learned a lot of these different strategies. I've also had the pleasure to work in a variety of classrooms as young as kindergarten all the way through secondary. I've been teaching online now for a decade, and specifically really looking at how we use interactive slides to give students more collaboration, interaction, and student voice. I hope today to share a couple strategies with you all, but also make sure that you are feeling comfortable in terms of your classroom management and student accountability, and also that you know how to use the tools so that you're not surprised. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, today you're going to need the interactive slides, and you're also going to need to have Collaborate open. That's two different windows. If you don't already have the slides open, I'm going to go ahead and link them in the chat box. And I don't know if any of you all are Google schools. They're doing updates this week. I'm really hoping that so that we get Google Meets breakout rooms. But if you're finding that your connectivity is not working out too well, I have a backup plan. Just let me know in the chat box if things aren't loading for you. All right, join me down on slide 3. There are two great links available for you on slide 3. The first one is the template link, and that's where you can go to get lots and lots of pre-made templates for your classroom ready to just drag and drop in your presentation. And they also have the editable version as well. The second link will bring you to the PD recordings if you want to listen to this recording or another. This is ours here today, Classroom Management Accountability. And there's even the blank slide deck if you want fresh, clean slides that haven't been messed with. They're available there. Slide 4 is just some information if anyone was interested in the program that we've learned a lot of these strategies in at Mason. And our norms for success are down on slide 5. So again, come on down to slide 5. This is an interactive presentation. So you can move yourself down there as well. On slide 5 are our norms for success. This is interactive, so make sure you put away distractions so you can be really participating. We are recording, so reduce or eliminate any background noise. Questions are important. It's how we know we are learning. So please type your questions on the very last slide. That allows people to get the questions out when they have them, allows me to address them during the session, and then if I missed any, I can make sure I get to them at the very end. We're going to be in small groups from time to time. It's great if you would turn on your mic right away, and that way we can start communicating. Make sure we're using asset or positive language when describing kids at all times. And mistakes are going to happen. That's part of learning. If a mistake happens to you, just undo it. You can do that with Control-Z or Command-Z. Don't drive while participating. And if this is not your first session, please update your profile picture in our teleconferencing tool here. Lets us see another side of you. In addition to ground rules, I am working with several teachers right now on redefining ground rules and trying to find a place where students know that as a teacher, I care about you first, and I want to make it so that you can interact, you can feel comfortable in your environment. So I offer you slide 6 as a fully editable slide. You can copy it into your personal Google Slides and edit it so that we really can talk about things that we can control as teachers, because I can control that I care about you, I can control that I value your personality, and I can control that I want you to be comfortable and confident. And so I've kind of changed these up recently, and I hope as teachers we can kind of feel like we love our jobs again with these things that we can control. All right, folks. Join me down on slide 7 or 8 or 9. We have many that are the same. And you're going to use a text box to go ahead and put something in here that you are celebrating or a success that's happening in your life. And the text box, that's just a little picture of it. You need to go all the way up on the toolbar and all the way over to find the actual text box. And Deanna, I saw that you were in here nice and early, ready to share successes. Tell us a little bit about what you wrote.
We had to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to have the camp happen. We do this every year normally, but obviously this year, things are a little bit different. We have 35 rising freshmen in our NJROTC program, and we're basically running them through the ringers to teach them what our program is about. And it's just been really, I was scared to death that it wasn't going to happen or that somebody would get sick, but it's been working out really well, and the kids have been absolutely fantastic.
That is so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm glad you're able to have a safe and happy camp experience. Who adopted a new dog? And I hope we get to see pictures. How's that going?
That was me, and it's going really well. He's perfect, and I love him so much. His name's Murphy.
Oh my gosh, what a cute name. Awesome. And somebody is spending a few days with family at the beach. Who's that, and what are you doing to make sure that you are safe and happy at the beach?
Hi, it's me, Consuelo. We went to the Outer Banks and we were wearing masks and trying to stay outside. We ordered food to take out and had it at the balcony and not in the inside restaurant. It was fun.
Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm glad you were able to be safe and that you were able to have fun. And Nicole, you were just painting, and how was painting? And how do you feel about being able to be comfortable in your own clothes, whether they have paint on them or not?
Well, painting in a mask so I don't give COVID to my 85-year-old parents. It's nice to spend a couple of days painting in their house because I got to actually spend some time talking to them and being with them after so many months. But they're old, their house is old. I had to pull off really nasty, dirty wallpaper, which I had to convince them to take off. But I'm proud of them for letting us do a little bit of improvements to their old house.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you were able to spend some time with them. And let's see, we've got a lovely picture. You know, the things that get us teachers excited at the beginning of a school year, for me, is going out and getting Crayola markers because there's no marker better than Crayola. But I can see our new thing is getting chairs and office furniture for making an office out of a little hidey hole in our house. So who has the new chair and how's it going?
It just arrived yesterday, and I was the end of the day. I haven't put it together yet, but I'm excited because I'm going to be very comfortable. So
Awesome. All right, folks, this is Successes and Celebrations. It's one of the first things that I always like to do in my classes, and I do this regardless of how many days I've had students, whether they're total strangers or brand new. I always do this because every single student gets a voice. We're not worried about participation here because all the students are excited to share on this slide. You might not use the word successes and celebrations every day. You might add some different things for them to respond to. But I love the unstructured space. Sure, it can look a little chaotic at first, but with the trained eye, you'll notice that students can really be themselves. They can add their own bitmojis, they can add smiley faces, they can add images, they can change the color of the text. And anytime we have the opportunity to give kids a chance to be their unique selves, they're going to love it. So let's keep doing that and valuing them for being them. On top of that, sometimes I like to get my students to come to class a little bit early. So I will frequently have the very first slide with just one word or phrase on the slide. And my students are always welcome to come in, see what it is, and see if they have a connection to it. And if they do, they frequently put pictures of themselves, or they will find their gamer tag if it's a video game that we're talking about. And it just gives kids a place to connect with one another, tell them their favorite My Little Pony, a memory they had, and they really like this. I also sometimes will put in things like video games where they can use their gamer tag. And an example of that is on slide 10. It's just a blank space with one word or phrase, but this little strategy gets kiddos on time, and that's what I am always looking for. Alrighty, if you want to move down to slide 11, we're going to jump into some accountability right away. On slide 11, our topic here is how to share Google Slides. You're going to watch a video that teaches you all 7 ways to share slides. Some of them are public, some of them are private, and some of them are individualized. I'm going to ask that you go ahead and click on this link here, watch the video, and then you can respond in any box on the orange slides below. There are several ways to share a Google slide. Start by going to the top where it says Share. If you want to share it publicly, we can work on sharing a link. Simply hit Change, and it says anyone with the link can. And there are 3 choices here. Would you like them to just view it, where they cannot edit the slides at all? Would you like them to view and be able to comment? Or would you like to give them full editing rights? Then simply copy the link and paste it into your document. The other option is to share by student email address. You can type student email addresses in here, and even send a message. And again, you can give them rights as viewer, commenter, or editor. The third way is a little trick, and it forces students to make a copy. This is especially nice if students are working on a take-home exam and you don't want them to write on the original, but you want to make sure that they have their own copy saved in their own file. The way you do that is through the link. I'm going to copy the link, and then when I paste it, I'm going to change the very end of it. Where it has edit, I'm going to change the words to copy. Now anyone who clicks on that link will be sent a message that says, would you like to copy this? For example, now that I paste it in, it wants me to sign in and create my own copy. All right. As a way of checking for understanding and a comprehension of the video, I frequently have places for students to respond right after the video, and I invite you to those spaces now. Any orange space that is available you can use. And if somebody else is in the same box as you can just double click on another box and type in there. There's plenty more slides below. And you can see one of the downfalls to not having an assigned space means that several people can type on the space you are typing on. So one thing I like to do is assign student numbers at the beginning of the year, and I use them in a variety of different ways. So if you just typed on an orange slide with a number, I'm going to ask you to find the same number in the corresponding green slides below those, and type your response to the second question. I'm seeing lots of wonderful responses about these two questions. It's a little bit of a compare and contrast kind of question, why you would use one over the other. But the important thing I wanted teachers to get out of this is how you can ask questions and students have their own assigned space for the response. And I'd like to have a whole group conversation for a minute here. Why might you assign a class matrix in your class? In other words, what we just did, where you would have a student number and you would know exactly where to type. Why might you do that? Please respond in either the chat box or you can use your microphone to share out loud. Katie brings up to avoid confusion. That is a huge one, absolutely.
100% right to participate.
Yes, absolutely. I know one thing that teachers are working on right now is how do I get my students to participate? And it sounds like you're trying to make your students participate. And we all know how difficult it is to do that. Whereas instead, if we invite them to participate by giving them the space, blank slides and typing allow for a different type of voice than putting students on the spot and talking using a microphone does. So, having that space available is more of an invitation.
And they could all do it at the same time, so nobody has to wait. So it's efficient with your time. And everyone has like equitable amount of space. And if you do it consistently, there's an element of trust from the teacher that everyone's going to get called on and there aren't any teacher pets or whatever.
Yes, indeed. So it does build that participation. Another thing that teachers can do is they can give students notification that they're going to be called on. I've just assigned one of the cells a light green color on slide 19. And before I actually call on a student, they've already had the chance to type. And now I'm going to ask them to elaborate a little bit more and think about how many seconds have gone by since I've color-coded that light green. So if the person, number 15, feels like is sharing out and elaborating, Why did you type this, and what's something that you're thinking about?
Hi. I thought that if I can adjust my tasks to different students' need, I could send um, those different assessments to different students via email or assigning that way.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing and demonstrating how we can give students notifications before calling them and kind of catching them off guard. Um, let's see. Loretta, you mentioned a little bit about accountability and comfort. How did you find those in this activity?
Hi. I think because, it kind of makes it clear that you're expected to not just kind of sit idly by, but actually participate. But also, as they start to do this more and more, they get comfort with the routine of what's going to happen, what's coming up, and what's expected of them.
Absolutely. So they do start to get into a routine. There is some accountability there. And it does appear that Google Slides is being a little bit slow. So if that's the case, I've got a backup plan. If you can be patient with me for just a minute, I'll also model one of the ways that we can showcase to kids that, weird things happen with tech. There's still glitches, but we can still be doing the learning. Alrighty. Um, if you would join me on slide 22, if you have the slides open. If not, no worries. And one of the things we're going to be doing at this stage is making a copy of the slide presentation. And what that means is that you'll go to File, Copy, and you'll make a copy of the whole thing. And let's see. Mine definitely stopped on me. I think I might be in the same place you are. Let me try one extra thing with a refresh. Refresh is always great. Oh, so again, I'm hoping that I can model some different things that could happen so that you can be calm with students as they are accessing the technology. Today happens to be a Google Update Day. Fun. So I'm going to go ahead and do a refresh. If you are able to make a copy of the slides, here's one useful reason why we do that. You'll notice at the top of my screen, I have a copy of the presentation. And so I do that in case students accidentally delete something or move something that they didn't intend to do, and they are having trouble hitting the undo button. If that happens, I can just go over to my copy. Here we have successes and celebrations. Or we even have these cells and they're blank again, and I can paste them right back in. So I am able to use that. The other option is going to your version history. The downside to the version history, I find it clunky. Maybe with this new update, it'll be fabulous. But I find it so easy just to make a copy of slides and keeping them in the background as a backup. So I wanted to showcase that for you all today. All right. I'm going to give this one more try, and if this is not being successful, I'm going to move into Plan B, which is sending us over to our copied slides. Alrighty. If you would, go ahead and close down that previous slideshow, and you're going to use this link that I put in the chat box to go into a different one. There may have still been many people from the last session in there and causing it to have heavy traffic. So you all are getting a new link. You can click on that and join us here. Go ahead, Susan.
I hate to be that person. I can't find the chat box on this software presentation.
Oh, no worries at all. So you probably have another tab or window that you're hearing these little pings go in. Um,
Okay.
the tab has a little purple icon on it. If you check your other windows or tabs, you'll see those. And then once you're in Collaborate, you've got to actually open up the chat box. So let me show you what that looks like.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. You probably have it not expanded yet. So much
Okay.
like I'm doing here, you're going to expand it, and then you'll see the chat box. And then there's the link.
Okay.
Teresa,
Yeah.
and are we opening your presentation as a new tab or open as a new link, or what? Which option are we going to pick?
Either one is perfectly fine. You can do a new link or a new tab. But I am experiencing something quite unusual. Yeah, no, this is very unusual. And all the years I've been doing this, I haven't seen this happen. Alrighty, let's see. Let me try one other trick. The other trick I'm going to do is make a copy. Huh. Yeah, let's see what we can do about that. That is really strange. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something where we don't need Google, and it's still on the agenda for today. And hopefully we'll get this up and running real soon. I'm going to troubleshoot while you're in breakout rooms. Alrighty. In Blackboard Collaborate, or in Zoom, or in Microsoft Teams, or in Google Meets, no matter what you use, there's going to be an option to share content. And your sharing content could be in a variety of different ways. You might share your entire screen, just an application, or a tab. And in this next activity, you are going to go ahead and explore what it's like to use all three of them, just one or the other. Let me show this. Yay, I'm so excited it's opening for you all. All right, I've got directions up now. You're going to explore what it's like to share your entire screen, a tab, or an application. I know there's other folks who are used to this teleconferencing tool. If you can support your group, that would be great. If your group has nobody who's used to it, feel free to raise your hand. I'll pop in your breakout room and I'll support you. So see the difference between the three of them. Alrighty, I've got breakout rooms about to start. All right, you're automatically going to go into your breakout room. Go ahead and turn on your mics and try sharing your screen 3 different ways.
Sorry. I don't know that we can share can we share our screen if we don't have moderator rights though? I don't know that we can.
Yes, so what you do is you go to share application screen. And then you'll get a pop-up and it says share your entire screen, which will be your whole desktop window.
Right.
Your
Yeah, I know how to do
application
that. I didn't realize we were given
your-
moderator rights.
for your tab.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me? I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah?
okay, I'm lost. I have no understanding of anything you're doing. I'm sorry,
So-
I don't.
Purple X.
Say that again.
Purple
I
arrows.
see X. I see X.
Right.
But
We
I
shared
found-
screens, but I didn't know about all this other.
Yeah, so I found though
Okay.
that unless someone else has more knowledge, I only used the first option, which is your entire screen, or the last option, which was Chrome tab. So those were the two that I used.
And why would you,
Oh, here. Oh, are you getting all those little things?
Yes. So that's the screen, right? You're sharing your screen?
Right, but that's weird. Okay, so now I'm going to try sharing a tab. Well, let me put something.
Share it again?
There should be a little stop sign.
Yeah, I found it.
Does anyone else want to share, try sharing or have questions?
I think for this platform, yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Um,
I like using the whole screen when you have to click to different tabs if you're trying to show the kids something on different tabs, or you're modeling. Like a lot of my kids have tech problems, so I like to have like the bottom thing so I could show them on my computer what it looks like.
Application screen. You can share things like your entire screen, an application window, or a Chrome tab.
cool.
I can't show you because for some reason I can't share. But the whiteboard was fun. My kids would come in a little bit early so they could type messages to me and draw, and we would play tic-tac-toe for brain breaks.
Oh, that's fun.
A breakout room.
A breakout room?
Yes.
That is in, you have to be the,
Moderator.
you have to be the moderator, and then it'll give that to you as one of your options.
Okay.
You create the groups, and then you drag kids' names into each group.
Okay. I'm in Cecil County. We've been using Blackboard Collaborate too, but I hadn't heard about I've done breakout in the Zoom meetings, but I've not done breakout for Collaborate to get ready for the kids.
Welcome back, everyone, to the main room. Hello. I think we have some of the tech things fixed. Isn't that exciting? All right, so you all were using your detective skills to look at the 3 different ways of sharing. And again, those are 3 different ways that's across multiple platforms. So why would we spend the time to do this? What's important for teachers to know in terms of what they choose to share? What did your groups talk about? You can respond in the chat box or using the microphone.
Hi, this is Pat.
Hi, Pat. What did you guys notice?
We did the screen. We talked about the screen and the tab and why you would use one or the other. But the application I didn't get to, and then somebody was talking about putting your audio on, because if you were showing a video to the students, you might want your audio on so that you could talk to them. And I had trouble finding it, that's all.
Yeah, many of you all came into the session today listening to some jazz music. I like to put that on early so people know their sound's working. And yeah, there's different ways that you can share things so that students have access. Does anyone have a preference between the three?
I was sharing with my group that I prefer to use the whole screen when I'm showing my students like their assignments for the day or something where I want to be able to click and open up multiple tabs so then they can see like the path that I go on and what happens when you click on each tab and where to go.
Yeah, so if you're showing navigation on the computer screen, I work with a lot of kindergartners and first graders as a Girl Scout Daisy Troop leader, and when we were trying to show them like how to move between tabs, we wanted to like actually show them. So we did that, and then they did it back, and they shared their screen to show they knew how to do that. What else?
I love that you share the tab feature, and all last spring, I would line up everything I wanted to share. Every morning I shared the sign language Pledge of Allegiance, and then I had something for math, a 2 to 3 minute video of something with math, and then I had something from our language arts department that I wanted to share. And in the morning, like while I was having coffee made, I just made sure I had all my tabs for the day up at the tippy top. And then I just knew throughout the day as I was done with a tab, I could close it out. But it was just easy to know what I wanted up there. And then throughout all my different synchronized lessons, I could just, when I was ready to, just say, okay, guys, I'm going to share this video with you now. It's really great. Let's watch it. And then I would just go share it, and I could tell that they could all see it. So I love the tab feature.
It sounds like you're almost using them as a planner or like bookmarks where you would, you know, kind of cross one off, you would close one down. Love it. So what about the things that students can see on your screen? Y'all know students pick up anything, whether you have a little spot on your shirt or you're showing something on your screen, they're going to see it and they're going to focus on like the littlest detail. So what's important to know about things on your screen?
You mean like what's a danger?
You could do danger, you could do excitement.
Well,
yeah.
You wouldn't want your private emails from colleagues to pop up on your screen while you're sharing your screen that has some comment about admin or something.
Absolutely. You know? Sometimes we have our email open up in a tab. Sometimes it's got little announcements that come up and even tells you like who just wrote you in the short beginning of the email. And if you don't want those shared with your students, you don't want to share the whole screen. If you've turned off those notifications, then it's a great time to share your screen. Deanna Branch's gradebook, email.
And one thing to be aware of that I experienced if you decide not to have an editable version of Google that you're sharing with your students and instead you want to download it and have maybe kids write on it, I know with Blackboard Collaborate with our sessions, we only had 15 minutes where we could go in and get to look at that document for, say, our first class. And if you're downloading it, you will not see what it looks like until that 15 minutes before. So it could change. It might compress some things and move some images around. So you might have to make some quick changes, some edits to it, and then download it again into Blackboard if that's what you're using. So just something to be aware of.
Interesting. So the other things that are important to notice on your screen are if you have any little icons on here. I mean, you all can see that I have Skype and Pinterest and Bitmoji on here. Be aware of what's on your screen. Be aware of what is below your URL. If you have any bookmarks, that's when my students found out that my favorite travel destination is Punta Cana because I had a bookmark on there. And so there's all these things that's important to know for you as the teacher. And since part of this session is all about accountability, I want to make sure that you're feeling confident in knowing what is all available to students. Let's check out another activity. If you come on down to slide 26, please. In this next activity, you're going to get together in a group and you're going to talk about ground rules or rules that you would have for your classroom. You might have a very diverse group of high school teachers and kindergarten teachers, and so you don't need to make one slide that fits all, but practice what it's like to move out the pictures, add your own pictures, change your directions, and we'll have a few minutes for you to tinker around with this so that you have everything you need to make your ground rule slide for your class. You're going to move into breakout rooms yourself, but I'm going to support you in doing that. You'll notice that on slide 26 are the different groups based on birthday. That's just how I randomized them. And the breakout rooms are officially open now. If you know how to move into breakout rooms, you can go right ahead. If you're new to this, I'm going to show you many times in Collaborate. So come on over to Collaborate. The first thing you're going to need open is your panel. And the attendees section here. If you scroll down, 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 there they are. You click on the little green arrow and you can enter that room. Go ahead and start editing one of those ground rule slides and make it yours. Again, if you're in Collaborate, go ahead and open up this control panel. And you'll want to move not the chat box, but the one next to it, the Attendees tab. And then scroll down, 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 down. There they are. Click the little green arrow to enter that room, and you can start editing your ground rules slide. Again, if you are still in the main room, you're going to click the control panel. Make sure you have that open with the chat box and the Attendees tab. You'll see people's names, and you'll scroll down, 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 down until you see the different group options. And it looks like group 1 could use a couple more people. So go ahead and randomize yourself in groups that need more people. And I'm going to go ahead and move anybody else who's left in the main room into a group so you can go ahead and get started.
Needs to be the typer, somebody needs to be the image finder, somebody needs to be the timekeeper.
Okay.
And then 3, determine what rules and expectations are important for your class.
So
Thank you, Elsa.
And so we can chat with the group, which I just discovered. So whatever jobs we want or whatever in our classroom or our expectations, I'll type them in there. Or am I typing them on a thing?
Well, I think you're typing them on the slide.
Okay, I don't see one anyway.
Group
I'll
2.
type them in chat and then we can see them there.
We're group 2, which is slide 28.
It's 38.
Oh, is it?
I think 28.
She skipped all those 20 something, so we're down on ground rules and we're supposed to change the images and the words.
Sure, why not, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Can we load it up? Should we?
yeah, I think we should be looking at slide 30 now. I think that one that would be changing is don't drive, because I don't think our students are going to be driving.
Right.
Is there one that you think is missing that we could replace this one with? Maybe expect to.
Maybe instead of driving, like watching TV.
I love that. So
they have on the assignment or about classroom management. In this example, I'm in group 2 with Evan, and the two of us are discussing something.
Oh, here we go. I think I would want one that's something about participating. You know, when you're asked to participate.
We could replace that with kind words.
be patient, use kind words.
Yeah, and I would just say with that, like being patient, like taking turns. I know I had a lot of problems in the spring with students talking over each other.
Respecting others and being slow when they go between one activity to another.
So like something about being respectful. Yeah, being respectful to classmates or something. Be respectful. Show respect.
Of our learning environment. That's good.
All right. Oof, okay, gotta find an image for that.
You show some like listening, so they're being respectful.
Oh, that's good.
Like an image.
Welcome back,
Last
everyone, to the main room. Hello there, and welcome back. I hope in that time you were able to explore not only how to add pictures, change text, but also get perspectives from other teachers about expectations and how to write the expectations so that they are something that you can do as teachers, that they are positive, and that they focus on the student learning. Alrighty, let's some of you may or may not have had the opportunity to watch the video link on slide 26, so I want to give you that opportunity now. I've also typed it in the chat box, and you're welcome to send me a private message at any time to see how it works.
students might need to talk to the moderator or teacher about questions they have on the assignment or about classroom management. In this example, I am in group 2 with Evan, and the two of us are discussing something together. But up in group 1, Jessica and Josephine are working together. Josephine is finding a problem with her group member. Here is Josephine's screen. She can go over to the chat box and write me directly. And say, I need help with my group members. This sends a message directly to me and nobody else. Let's go back to my screen. I see a little red dot and I know that there's a message. This message is from Josephine. I need help with my group members. I can quickly go into group 1 and assist them. Once I'm in here, there is no notification to the girls that I've entered their room. I can listen in for a few minutes and hear what is happening. Then I can decide what to do as a teacher.
Hi everybody, my name is Sam Carey and
All right, so hopefully you all have seen some ways that we can keep students safe in their breakout rooms and give them a place to share with the teacher when they need support. If you come on down to slide 36, we have one more activity to take a look at. Speaking of breakout rooms, let's figure out like why we might need them, why they might be useful. And we're going to start with the tale of a first-year middle school teacher. I invite you to read the tale and then to respond on the slide below.
So when she's talking, this is in the chat bar. When you can write a comment, there's Jan's picture. I've got Betty. That's mine.
I can tell right away by the number of avatar bubbles on slide 36, 37, and 38 where my students are in terms of reading and how much time they might need on that reading passage. There is also more space available on the next slide, and you'll notice the difference when we want something to be anonymous using the bullet points versus if we want to use that student ID number on the right-hand side so that students know exactly where they should type. And yes, you all bring up a lot of the very real concerns that could happen in this experience, but also you would want the teacher to know, that you could make guidelines, you could make a menu, you could bring in examples, you could set ground rules, you could set expectations and parameters. And big shout out here to all my primary teachers, especially those kindergarten teachers who get many kiddos for the very first time in school. You all know we don't walk a group of kids down the hallway without teaching them, the rules, the expectations. In other words, like don't lick the wall while you're walking down the hallway. And those of you in kindergarten know what I'm talking about. Other grades, yeah, that's a real thing. So that is what we mean here in terms of rules, parameters, and expectations. If you come on down to slide 39, this is the reason why I advocate for breakout rooms in distance learning, because they build communicators, they build collaborators, they build creative and critical thinkers, they build ethical and global citizens, they build safe and knowledgeable digital citizens, and they build classroom community. But much like the example of Terry, we're not just going to start off in breakout rooms for 30 minutes with everyone. We're going to go through phases. On slide 40, I described 3 different phases, but these aren't the only 3. There's many steps in between. When I get a new group of students, I start off breakout rooms in 2 by 2 by 2s, which means 2 students for 2 minutes on 2 really low stakes questions, such as what's your favorite kind of pizza? And if you got a free extra topping, what would it be? Every kid has an opinion, every kid has an answer, and the conversation is light and easy. Before I move to the middle section, the 4 by 4 by 1, there are 4 criteria that students need to meet. I need to make sure they're comfortable with the microphone, that they can demonstrate kindness, that they use safety protocols like letting me know if someone's in trouble, and create and implement the classroom norms. When they've mastered all 4 of those, we are now ready for phase 2. Increased group size, increased length of time, and I'm going to get to a low level content question. So if I'm a mathematics teacher, I'm going to bring in a low level question that I know every student can answer. It won't take them long to answer, but they'll be successful in it because they're still working on the social norms. And I have 4 more areas they need to show mastery before I can increase them. I need to make sure students know how to give equitable talk time in larger groups, that they value collaboration. Typically, I'll give a job out like the mayor, and the mayor is responsible for making sure that every student in that group gets a voice. And I use a sentence stem that says, blank for the student's name, we haven't heard you yet. What's your idea? They need to have comfort with the technology, and they need to be able to implement the problem-solving oath, which is just a little oath that we develop as a class that it includes my expectations and their own, and that I'm seeing that they are mastering this. Things like making mistakes and making it be okay, sharing their work with others, listening to others. And on slide 41 is, I think, the biggest reason why I use breakout rooms. And I like to think about the world that the students are going into. All the adults right now who are doing their jobs distance right now, and how some people are having great versus really negative experiences. They have either been taught or need to be taught how to be digital citizens. So as you go forward this school year, teach your students to be digital citizens. Teach them how to undo mistakes. Teach them how to respect others' work. Teach them that they're responsible for their actions online. Teach them about cyberbullying and also how to be a cyber hero. Teach them how to ask for help. Teach them how to say, I'm sorry online. Teach them the most important skill they're going to use in their lives. Teach them to be digital citizens. And folks, that's the top of the hour. As a reminder, all of my templates are available to teachers here on my website. I'm going to spend any extra time that anyone would like to stay after and do questions from the virtual parking lot. I've also included a slide below it because it looks like we're in overflow. There's a lot of writing there. But as you go forward this school year, I hope that you're feeling a little more confident in the technology that's out there, that you have kind of one step ahead, but also that you see the importance of making sure that students have the opportunity to collaborate and interact and have voice, and the structures in which you can start to do the gradual release of the restrictions that you put on your classes. So folks, I'm going to stay after for anyone who has questions, and good luck this year. Alrighty. Somebody said they wanted support with the breakout rooms. Let me, I'm going to go to my website and link some stuff for you. See, I get several of these questions each time I do a session. So I've made a couple videos on them. You can check out all the videos on my frequently asked questions video slides. But let me get to yours specifically about breakout rooms. Every teleconferencing tool has their way of doing breakout rooms. This is how I like to do them. And I encourage you also to explore different ways on whatever teleconferencing tool you're using. Are breakout rooms doable for younger students? I'm not sure how young you teach, but I've been doing breakout rooms with pre-K, with K and 1, specifically pretty regularly because I'm a Girl Scout troop leader for 14 Daisies. So I do breakout rooms with kindergarten first graders every time we meet, and give them a space to practice some of the sign language as they're learning for the Girl Scout oath, and just kind of say hello to each other in smaller, more intimate rooms. Again, go back to those norms and expectations. Is the early arrival one-word phrase slide interactive, just like the successes and celebrations? Absolutely. I have kids put all kinds of fun stuff on there. They take pictures, little selfies of themselves and put them up. Gets them there early, gives them an appropriate place to get out their sillies. That's so important, right? And yeah, it's interactive. Have you ever tried assigning students a number each session? Yes, I do sometimes do that. I was a middle school teacher first and foremost, and we couldn't even get the kids to not share their locker combinations, let alone a number in their slides. So sometimes I would do that. I would assign them right at the beginning. Sometimes I can assign them through private chat. Other times I would just let them know at the beginning. Sometimes I give them a math problem. Take your main number, whatever it is, and add 104 to it, and then subtract 22 and get your new number. And so it's enough of a calculation that they're just really focusing on their own. But it's kind of fun to see the way you can integrate that. Let's see, probably good for our ESOL and youngest students to use an icon or picture to indicate a need for help. Yes, another thing that sometimes I'll do is have students raise their hand when they need help, especially in our youngest groups, because they're not always as, nervous about that. They're more likely to put up a hand. So you could use that. Can I monitor students in student chat? Can we limit students? Yeah, you can absolutely limit student to student chat. Those should be in your settings. There's whatever teleconferencing tool you use, there's different settings for that. And depending on what your school has purchased, if you have a technology person, you're asking the right questions here. And that's exactly the type of question you'll ask them, and they can let you know what your school has available. Do you have ideas or other options if our districts do not allow you to use breakout rooms? So I'm on several committees where I'm advocating for breakout rooms in districts who previously did not allow them. And the biggest reasons that they did not allow them was out of fear of the unknown. And so there's two things that I've done in order to bridge that over. First of all, I developed a plan. The breakout room phases are a very clear plan about when you move into different phases. Students need to show responsibility and mastery of each of those skills before I have them move into the next phase. If I'm finding that students are still being inappropriate in, let's say, a 2x2x2 situation, we scale that back and we go back to just one slide in a slideshow. We interact with that and then we go into another one. So it really is about kind of thinking about all the stages in between and what's your plan when things happen. Because there's things that happen in a face-to-face class. If you're thinking about safety in breakout rooms, you're probably also thinking about safety in your face-to-face class. You're probably wondering what students have in their pockets, in their backpacks, whether it could be a drug or a weapon, and how you're going to keep your class safe and all your students safe. And so these don't go away in the online room. They're just different. And so we need to have very clear and succinct plans for how we plan to move to give students more autonomy and more agency in their learning. So the plan here usually supports administrators in changing. The other one is the reason why we do breakout rooms. I've surveyed over 200 school divisions, large school divisions, on their district goals, and every single one of their district goals say that they want to have digital citizens or 21st century learners. And breakout rooms are a fundamental part of being a digital citizen and a 21st century learner. So being able to point out district goals that this is what we want our students to do can be really helpful in convincing your school systems to adopt breakout rooms. Finally, there's the thought of students turning 18, being full adults, leaving home, moving into a new house and having none of these digital citizenship skills. Maybe not knowing how to be safe online, not knowing what looks suspicious, not knowing what information to put out there or not put out there. When we're teachers and we can monitor these breakout rooms, we can give them a little bit of the agency, but also have the teaching aspect there and making sure they do it correctly with support and consequences, where they're not going to get that as an adult. So I hope those are a couple reasons to support breakout rooms, and hopefully you can bring those up with the people who are making the decisions there. We have to record our Google Meet sessions. Will it record breakout rooms? It will record whatever you're in. Much like if you wore a body camera in your class and you're working with table number 6, it will show table number 6. As soon as you turn your body to table number 4 and you're talking with them, it'll show table number 4. The same thing happens in the breakout room. It records what you are on. So it doesn't get every single breakout room, but you can move between them and it'll catch those. Oh, thanks, Jody. Yeah, I've been really interested in district goals and how we can make digital citizens if we are just putting restrictions on students. I like to think of my goal having 18-year-olds ready with absolutely no restrictions on online learning. And how do we get them there to be safe, knowledgeable, and appropriate? And we can't just do that on their 18th birthday. We've got to have little steps beforehand. It's the same reason we teach driver's ed in high school. We want to give them a structured space to make mistakes and go slow so they don't turn 18 and just start driving for the first time. Deanna, let me know if I can support you in any way in speaking with your division because it's a really important thing that we do. Sure thing, everyone. Have a great start to your school year. You got this. Keep sharing your ideas. Patricia, you asked about breakout rooms. Yes, I do have a video. And Patricia, I'm also going to put it in the chat box there if you'd like to see. All right, folks, have a good one.